started. So today is April the 10th, 2024. We're here for a public meeting regarding proposed rule changes around TAC, 19 TAC 89, 1040, 1015 at SEC. We do have a full house today. So let me go ahead and go through some of the instructions, and then we'll get started. Speakers will be called to speak by their sign-in number in order of sign-in. Please clearly state and spell your full name. If you are representing an organization, please clearly state the name of the organization that you're representing. You will have only 3 minutes to speak. The timer will start after you have stated your name and, if applicable, the name of the organization that you're representing. A 30-second warning will be given. At the end of the 3 minutes, you will be given a signal to stop. Once the stop signal is given, you may complete your sentence, and then you must stop. Speakers are encouraged to include written testimony, which can be emailed to spedrule@tea.texas.gov. And as always, TEA staff will not be responding to comments today, nor will TEA staff ask for any questions. So those are the instructions. And so our first speaker today is Edgar Pacheco.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Appreciate everyone who is here today and the opportunity to come and give public comment on the proposed rules. I will actually be speaking on the proposed petition for what many of us call the educational representative. As it currently stands, I am opposed to the current draft of the petition and urge TEA to not take any action on it as of yet. Myself, along with some of my colleagues who are on this call, have been working on this particular issue for the last several years and have been attempting to get a bill through the legislature. We have made tremendous progress where multiple of the organizations here have worked on the bill language itself that is inclusive of not just a subset of students, but at least 90 to 95% of these students who would fall under the provisions of an educational representative. We do agree that there is a need to have an educational representative. And while we do believe that urgent action has to be taken in the form that it is currently written, may be counterproductive to the goal of what we're trying to accomplish, and that is to make sure that every student who is over the age of 18 who may not have the capacity to provide some form of informed consent, that their rights be protected as well as the rights of the parents, and making sure that that process is truly independent from the school districts, and that this is a parent/student driven process. So appreciate the time and look forward to having any questions answered maybe after this call. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay. Next is Krista Stevens.
Good morning. Hello, I am Krista Stevens, CHRISTA-STEVENS. Thank you for the opportunity to provide public comments. I represent Autism Speaks, which is a national nonprofit dedicated to the needs of those with autism spectrum disorder. I'm grateful to TEA for this opportunity and will also be submitting written comments. I would like to address the proposed changes to section 89-1040C1 regarding eligibility for autism, and amendments to relettered section 89-1055G concerning the elements of the autism supplement. Both my suggestions today have a common theme, which is that parents and caregivers of students with autism, and really you could say this to parents and caregivers of any type of student, they need to be given every opportunity to receive information in a way that they can understand And this relates to everything from using accessible language in documents to linking conceptual ideas throughout the special education process. Related to that theme, my two suggestions are as follows. First, concerning the section of the code that deals with the content of the IEP specific to the students who meet the eligibility criteria for autism, I suggest that the term autism supplement be incorporated into renumbered section 89-1055G, which serves to introduce the elements of the supplement as requirements for an autistic student's IEP and introduces those 11 strategies. I make this suggestion to promote clarity for all those involved, since the term autism supplement has become so widely used both in written communication as well as discussions during school meetings. Indeed, we see that TEA used the term autism supplement on page 3 of the public notice document for the proposed changes, and it's also used on the autism page of its website. Additionally, it's used on parent education sites, including those affiliated with the state, such as PRN Path and Navigate Life. Building on that suggestion, and again to promote consistency and accessibility, I would secondarily suggest that in the autism subsection of the eligibility definitions, specifically section 89-1040C1, that there be a linked reference to the autism supplement by name and the relevant section of the code. This would be similar in structure to what TEA has proposed for subsection 12 relating to visual impairment. In that eligibility section, TEA is proposing that a reference to the expanded core curriculum be added to subsection 4. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your patience. And again, as a reminder to everyone, written comments can be received at spedrule@tea.texas.gov. Up next is Jackie Benestante.
Hi, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just go ahead and start. Okay.
Yes.
Great. So yes, I am Jackie Benestante. I'm the Executive Director of the Autism Society of Texas. We provide support, information and referrals and advocacy across the state. We served 105 counties last year. I would like to comment on 89.1040C1, the autism eligibility definitions, as well as 89.1055 on the individualized education program edition. I'll start with 89.1040C1, the eligibility definition for autism. We would like to add where it says the team's written report of evaluation must facilitate the consideration of the 11 specific strategies as identified in TEC 89.1055. Also in 89.1040C4 eligibility definition for autism, we are concerned the creation and the use of the term behavioral disability may be misconstrued to label students who are perceived as behavior problems, in contrast with those having a diagnosed disability. And we would like to propose an alternative label, which would be emotional disability. Therefore, we request removal of the word behavioral in the new proposed eligibility label. We also request that the written report of evaluation mentioned as part of the ED category must include specific recommendations for mental health support and services for the student. In 89.1055, Part G, for students with autism eligible in 89.104C1 of this title relating to eligibility criteria, at the end of that where it says the strategies described in the subsection must be considered based on peer review research-based educational programming to the extent practicable and when needed, but at a minimum, we would like to add that this is addressed at the annual review of the IEP. In 89.1055, I would also like to second Krista Stevens' comments of using the term autism supplement consistently to better promote understanding for parents and caregivers. That's all of our oral comments. We'll also provide written comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. Next is Tamara White.
Hi, my name is Tamara White, TAMARAWHITE. I represent the Dallas Down Syndrome Advocate LLC, which is an advocacy company dedicated to the proper education of those with Down syndrome. I am, and I will also be providing written documentation later referencing the specific sections and bills that these comments I'm going to present are tied to. IQ tests designed for assessing typical students do not properly assess the intellectual differences of students with Down syndrome and actually create a deficit bias of their abilities to perform in the classroom, resulting in removal from gen ed and placement in classes that don't facilitate inclusion and are violations of the least restrictive environment. We would like an addition added that allows medical documentation provided by the parents confirming that indeed an intellectual difference exists, either under the ID eligibility criteria or under OHI, that would suffice to meet the requirement of demonstrating the student has an intellectual difference without subjecting that same student to a bias by providing an actual IQ score that is not relevant because the tests are not designed for individuals with Down syndrome. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Up next is Laura Parnell.
Thank you. My name is Laura Parnell, and I'm an educational audiologist. I'm employed by the University of Texas at Dallas Collier Center for Communication Disorders and provide contracted services for the Plano Regional Day School Program for the Deaf. And today I will be speaking as a private individual regarding changes to 89.1040C3. One of the reasons that an otologic evaluation is required in Texas is because our definitions for being deaf or hard of hearing as a disability category are broad, as they should be. It is up to the ARD committee to examine all evaluation data to determine DHH disability and special education eligibility. As a piece of the student's evaluation puzzle, it should include a medical evaluation so that children whose hearing may be remedied by medical intervention have the opportunity to be evaluated and to receive medical clearance for hearing aids. Rather than removing the requirement altogether, the evaluation data should be amended to include physician statements of etiology and prognosis, similar to those required for visual impairment, which can aid the ARD committee in determining the eligibility, but also factor into placement, accommodations, and service provision. Statements of etiology and prognosis would be additive information rather than duplicative of the audiological evaluation. Is the child at risk for progressive hearing loss? Do they have structural or anatomical anomalies of their ears, auditory nerves, or brain? Do they have a genetic condition that would involve other areas of need like cognition, vision, or balance? A medical evaluation can help determine those factors. Laws are not put in place when the rules are being followed. Laws protect Texans and provide guardrails to prevent those who do not refer children for medical evaluation from derailing a child's success. If removed, there will be districts who will qualify children as DHH, but who never get medically evaluated. A wide chasm already exists between education and healthcare, and it should not be made worse with the removal of this requirement for a sensory impairment. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Mrs. Potts, I never got a response when you came into the room. Are you interested in providing testimony? Ms. Landry, I didn't get a chance to ask you when you came in the room. Are you interested in providing testimony today?
I'm sorry, just listening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Lakeitha, I did not get a chance to ask you if you're interested in providing testimony today.
No, just listening.
Okay, thank you. And then Mary Jane Williams, I didn't get a chance to ask you if you're interested in providing testimony today.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for the public hearing today on the variety of special education rule changes. I will echo Krista Stevens and Jackie Benestat that regarding the autism supplement and making sure we're clarifying the terminology as well as adding some terminology in the written report, either facilitating the consideration of those 11 strategies or referring to the autism supplement. In addition to clarifying expectations and terminology with an autism supplement, I'd like to ask that TEA clarify 89-1055G5 futures planning. Many ARD committees that I've attended, they seem to pass over this and tell families that the futures planning is not eligible for their children because they're too young. And I'd like to channel my Dr. Vicki Mitchell autism training and the next steps to independence that her transition network created. And I recommend the following change. Beginning at any age, skills training and goals designed to facilitate student success in current environments and build capacity in choice and decision-making, self-determination and self-advocacy, self-management and self-awareness, as well as goal setting and independence leading to future integrated living, work, community, or post-secondary educational environments. I agree also with the change to emotional disability. We have to remember that behavior is communication for a variety of other mental health reasons. I ask that the proposed report also add communication and social interaction like you have done for the autism eligibility. And I also request that perhaps we list CFR 300.8 C4I sections A through E into the rules similar to what you're doing with developmental delay to better clarify emotional disability. And my last point is regarding developmental delay. I totally agree with the changes proposed as many families move here from other states that use this eligibility category. I look around Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida
30
use
seconds.
developmental delay. So thank you very much for my comments. I will add more written comments later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so the last speaker to have signed up to give testimony today is Mara Laviola.
Oh, thank you for this opportunity to speak. I'm here representing Texans for Special Education Reform. I will provide more comprehensive written comments by April 22nd, but I wanted to echo the comments of Edgar Pacheco in its entirety, as well as Krista Stevens from Autism Speaks and Jackie Benestante from the Autism Society of Texas in their entirety. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Ms. Porter, do you want to provide testimony today?
No, thank you. I just want to support part of the stakeholder group and an advocate, and I want to support the comments by the groups here, just here to show support.
All right, very good, thank you. And Ms. Lopez Dijon, do you want to provide testimony today?
No, I don't.
All right, and Ms. Slitzinger, would you like to provide testimony today?
In the comments section, she does say she wants to speak. She said she's having trouble unmuting.
You might, Ms. Litzinger, you might have to leave the meeting and come back in. I don't have the ability to unmute you. But I will hold the meeting open.
Oh, I was able to. It just made me say I was okay to be recorded and then it allowed it.
Okay,
Okay,
your 3 minutes can start now, man.
thank you. I am Linda Litzinger and I'm with Texas Parent to Parent. And we thank you for this opportunity to be here today and provide comments. I've been working with a group of other organizations for the past few days about the comments. So to be briefer, I'm going to say that we agree with Mara Laviola and Edgar Pacheco regarding the 18 plus or age 18 and above ability to represent themselves or to have a family member speak for them. Also, Krista Stevens, Jackie Benestanti, Mara Laviola. We agree with everything that has been said about autism. We also don't agree with using the word behavioral. In the language, it makes it sound like the student is a problem when that's not the case. It's more like emotional disability. And that's all I have to say. We're sending in much fuller written comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming to the meeting. As always, we appreciate your comments. Just as one final reminder, your written comments are welcome at spedrule@tea.texas.gov. There are no more speakers. And so at this time, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. Thank you. Have a great day.